Marine spirits exposed. Everything you need to know. I was a slave to the marine world, and this is my true confession. My deliverance took 7 days. 7 painful, sleepless, tormenting days. I vomited items, rings, feathers, substances I never knew had entered me. I saw visions of the MarineKingdom trying to pull me back. I was even taken to the river in the spirit, where the Queen of the Coast tried to renew my covenant by force. But the God of mercy fought for me. On the 7th day, I felt release. I woke up light. I could breathe again. I could feel again. My dreams changed. The hatred I carried dissolved. The seductive power I once had left. And for the first time in years, I cried tears of freedom. You see, I never imagined that my life would be used as a vessel for force beyond human understanding. What started as strange dreams and a desire to escape poverty soon turned into a life of bondage, deceit, and spiritual torment. I was a slave, not to a man, but to the powers of the MarineKingdom. And today I speak, not to entertain, but to expose. To tell you the truth, I want the whole world to know what many are afraid to say. There is a realm beneath the surface, a world that operates through people, some knowingly, some blindly. And I was one of them. I served under the marine spirit for years, and what I saw, what I did, haunts me every single day. It all began in my late teenage years. I was raised in a modest home. Life wasn't easy, but I was content until the dreams started. They were vivid and strange. Night after night, I would find myself standing by rivers, oceans, or deep blue lakes. Sometimes I would be swimming with ease through endless waters. Other times, I would see a beautiful woman beckoning to me. She wore white garments and carried a presence that was both terrifying and enchanting. At first, I ignored them, but the dreams became more intense. I started waking up drenched in sweat, feeling like I had actually been underwater. I would see water even in my waking hours. Hallucinations or spiritual projection. I'm not even sure what that was. But all that I can say is that I was seeing things that were not normal at that time. That was when the strange events started in my physical life. I began to attract people, men and women alike, who would offer me favors, money, even promises of fame. They didn't know me, yet they were drawn to me. Some would tell me there's something powerful around you. Others would try to touch me like they were magnetized. And then, one night, I had an experience that changed everything. I found myself in what looked like an underwater. Everything shimmered with a blue and green glow. I wasn't dreaming this time. I could feel everything. The chill of the water, the touch of hands, the music playing in the background. And then, that was the night I met her. I mean, the Queen of the Coast. Let me say, she didn't speak with her mouth, but her voice echoed in my mind. She told me I belonged to them and revealed to me that I was marked from birth. She said my destiny is not of this world. That night, she made me an offer. It included wealth, influence, supernatural power. But you see, in return, I had to surrender. I had to surrender my body. I had to surrender my purpose. When I woke up from that underwater encounter, something inside me had already changed. I wasn't the same person anymore. I felt charged, as though electricity ran through my veins. My senses were heightened, and I started seeing things. Spirits moving in people, dark shadows hovering over certain holes, even the hidden sense of strangers, and then it began. I was given an assignment. You see, the marine world operates like a military with strict hierarchies, timelines, and objectives. You don't serve for free. Once you are initiated, you become a vessel of their will, and they wasted no time with me. My first task was seduction. My aura had already changed, so it was easy. Women of all kinds, married men, married women, young men and women, pastors, politicians started coming to me. I didn't even have to speak. My presence alone drew them in. But you see, it wasn't just about sleeping with women and even the men. Every encounter was a transaction. Every drop of their fluid was spiritual currency. I was collecting destinies. Yes, destinies. Some people, after being with me, will lose everything within months. Their businesses crumbled. Their marriages fell apart. Others who were already spiritually compromised will rise in fame and fortune. But it only happened in this way because they now belong to the same kingdom I served. One thing is that no worker or no agent of the marine kingdom works alone. We were many. They are agents of the marine world in markets, schools, saloons, clubs, and sadly, even standing on the pulpits. Some know who they serve, others are just puppets, drawn in by lust or desperation. But we are everywhere. We had code words, we had meeting points, we had seasons, times when sacrifices had to be made, when certain souls had to be captured, especially those with divine callings or unusual stars. And I was good at what I did. I was too good. I was rewarded with dreams that manifested physically. Money showing up mysteriously, expensive gifts, cars, and even plot of lands. People envied me, but no one knew the price I was paying, because every time I closed my eyes, I was back underwater, serving my mistress, the queen of the coast. She would show me new people to attack, pastors, marriages to break, destinies to manipulate. She even introduced me to higher ranking spirits, spirits of seduction, spirits of confusion, spirits of spiritual blindness. And once she warned me. She told me that once I fail my task, the same distraction I carry will return to me in sevenfolds. And that fear kept me bound to her. Churches. You think they are sacred grounds, shielded by the fire of God, but not all. You see, the Marine Kingdom's view, churches are either threats or tools. Some churches carry true power. Their leaders are prayerful. Their altars are pure. Their congregations are spiritually awake. These churches are difficult to touch, but even they can be watched, studied, and tested. Then there are others, those built on vanity, ego, manipulation, or ignorance. Those are open doors for us. Those are feeding grounds. And that's where we begin. You see, my assignments shifted from individuals to institutions. I was sent to specific churches, especially those where the power of God had started to move, or where revival was stirring. Sometimes we went in as new converts. Other times too, I was introduced by someone already planted inside. Yes, like I said earlier, we have agents. Some are ushers, others are choristers, even assistant pastors who unknowingly carry marine spirits. And my job is simple: to distract the atmosphere, to divert the altar, to pollute the oil. I would sit near ministers during service, especially those struggling secretly with lust. Sometimes I would even be slain under the power during deliverance, just to test the spiritual depth of the pastor. If the fire was fake, I would pretend to fall. If it was real, I would feel it burn. But let me tell you one secret. The most effective weapon we used in churches was music. Yes, I know you are shocked. Yes, music. There are songs that are demonically coded, rhythms that are open gates, harmonies that invite marine spirits into gatherings without anyone knowing. I once trained with a gospel artist who had a huge following. Unknown to his fans, his success came after he made a covenant at the river. Every time his voice lifted in worship, it summoned power, but not the kind of power you think. We also targeted marriages in the church, happy homes, especially those of ministers. One thing you need to know is that we stirred up distracts, introduced financial pressures, or sent seductive women into their path. I personally helped destroy 5 pastoral homes during my time, and I say that with shame. You see, every time a pastor fell into immorality, it was recorded and celebrated in the realm below, because when the head is contaminated, the oil flows polluted, and sadly, many pastors didn't even know. Some, after one encounter with a marine agent like me, began having strange dreams, seeing snakes, losing their voice during prayers, becoming impotent or addicted to masturbation. You should know that that is not just coincidence. That is spiritual infiltration. Yes, that is spiritual infiltration. And if you don't work on it, you are doomed. And many pastors are victims, thinking they are working for the Most High, but unknown to them, they are doing the Marine Kingdom's work. You see, the deception of the church is this. While they still see the machines running, they think the church is still going on. But you see, the machine can be running, but the engine will be dead. This is how deep the kingdom works. And the worst part, we counted on their ignorance because sadly, many churches do not teach discernment. They don't expose darkness. They don't pray in truth and in power. They only entertain. Yes, I said it. 90% of churches around are entertainment centers. That's why they are putting on lights. They're making the auditorium beautiful just to attract people, not to teach, not to expose darkness, not to teach discernment, but just to entertain, just to motivate. You see, they emotionalize everything. And one thing they don't know is that the marine kingdom flourishes in that environment. You see, my breaking point came without me even realizing it. Yes, it started slowly. The same way we used to infiltrate people's mind and destinies. That's how the crack started showing in me. After years of deep service to the marine world, I had climbed high in rank. I had wealth. Money flowed without effort. I had influence. Men and women bowed at my feet. I could manipulate anyone I wanted, even pastors. But inside, deep inside, I was hollow. Something had shifted, and that I was suffering. One night, I returned from my usual assignment. I had stood during the entire service, eyes closed, murmuring incantations under my breath while pretending to be worshiping. By the time I left, chaos was in the church. But that very night, something unusual happened. As I lay in bed, a bright light, honestly, I can't describe it. This bright light pierced into my room, and through that light, I heard a voice, not loud, but firm and sorrowful. The voice told me that you are wasting the life I gave you. To be honest, I jumped up, afraid. I knew it wasn't from the kingdom I come from. That voice carried a weight I had never felt. But you see, it didn't bring fear like the queen's voice, but somehow it brought conviction. My heart beat in a way it had never done before. For the first time in years, I felt dirty. That night, I should say, marked the beginning of a spiritual war over my soul. The kingdom I had once served so freely now started tormenting me. They accused me of betrayal. They showed up in dreams, issuing warnings. I stopped sleeping peacefully. I lost appetite. I would wake up with scratches, bite marks, and at one point, I even started bleeding from my nose and ears without any medical explanation. I was being punished for thinking about leaving. That one I know. But deep within me, a hunger for freedom was growing. I started remembering everything my mother told me. Now I was the one crying in the dark, whispering, God, if you are still there, help me. That prayer, I would say, was the beginning of my deliverance. But let me be honest with you, it didn't come easy. I reached out to several pastors. Many were powerless. Some were even afraid of me. One pastor even told me that he cannot help me because what is chasing me is even bigger than himself. And that broke me even further. But one day, something led me. It was like the spirit was pushing me, and somehow, miraculously, I entered a small, humble church at the edge of the town. No flashy lights, no loud instruments, just prayer, just raw prayer, truth and power. Let me tell you something. The moment I stepped in there, the atmosphere suffocated me. I couldn't stand. I fell to the ground. And that day, I began manifesting. Not because someone shouted, not because someone prayed, but because the genuine presence of God was there. That's how I knew it was real. My deliverance took 7 days. 7 painful, sleepless, tormenting days. But the God of mercy fought for me. On the 7th day, I felt release. I woke up light. I could breathe again. I could feel again. My dreams had changed. Let me tell you the truth. The marine kingdom is real. It is wicked. It is seductive. It gives gifts, but demands your soul in return. But God is greater. No matter how deep you've gone, no matter how long you've served darkness, there is a way out. And I am a living proof of that. I'm not sharing this to glorify my past. I am sharing this to expose the strategies of hell and bring light into dark places. To the women still bathing in rivers at midnight, to the men still sleeping with strange women in dreams, to the churches that have unknowingly opened their altars to polluted spirit, I'll tell you to wake up, pray again, seek deliverance, because time is short and eternity is real. But before I go, let me say this. I did not come out to shame myself. I came out to warn you. The marine world is not some myth or superstition. It is an organized kingdom of darkness, strategically working through fashion, through sex, through music, through fame, and through some puppets. And sadly, many are already caught in its net, dancing to its rhythm without even knowing they are no longer free. But hear me clearly. No matter how far you've gone, no matter what you've eaten, no matter what you've signed, bathed with, or slept with, there is power to break every chain. I'm not speaking as a churchgoer. I'm speaking as a former agent of darkness who encountered a light so strong that hell couldn't hold me anymore. So if you are watching this, don't just admire my story. Respond to the truth. Go on your knees. Renounce every hidden covenant. Return to the place of true prayer and consecration, and stop playing with sin, because darkness is not playing with you.
If this story stirred something in you, don't scroll away. Like this video to push it to more people who need to hear this truth. Subscribe to Dangerous African Confession HD for more raw and revealing spiritual confessions like this. Share this with someone in your life who may be battling strange dreams, lust, spiritual attacks, or deep bondage. This could be the message that sets them free. And if you've had a spiritual experience or testimony you want to share anonymously, reach out to us on our number on the screen. Your story might be the next one to shake hell. Check on our next powerful episode for even greater revelation. Until next time, stay alert, stay awake, and always remember, light will always conquer darkness.